If you're out there and you're like me, you love taking Disney vacations. You went once and now you're hooked, and you want to go every year, even though you live over 1,000 miles away from Walt Disney World and even further from Disneyland. So how do you afford going to Disney? Today, I want to help you set a budget for your Disney vacation. I hope that this will help you set some realistic planning and saving goals so you can fulfill your yearly Disney fix. One of the first things that I think is super important is to remember that you don't want to go into huge debt from taking a vacation. Sure, you had a great vacation, but you don't want to be paying it off for the next year and having it cause you anxiety. It would be ideal to pay for as much as you can ahead of your vacation. You'll probably wait to pay for food and souvenirs until you're there, but it will be less stressful for you if you can just pay off that credit card debt in one payment. And if you want to go again, it would be better if your first trip is completely paid off before you add more debt by starting to pay for another one. Also, with planning ahead, you may not be as shocked at food and souvenir prices because you did your research ahead of time. To be financially responsible, it would be best to only spend 5 to 10% of your annual net income on your vacation. However, this can vary depending on your family size and maybe even on how far you have to travel. Maybe you're not going every year, and this is an every other year trip or every few years trip. Then that percentage could increase. You could also plan out your budget and then find ways to make some extra money so that you're not dipping into your regular income if you wanted to. Maybe if you get a bonus at the end of the year, or you make passive income or something, that could help cover the cost. Be creative. Anyway, I know talking about money can be depressing, so let's continue on to setting a budget by figuring out what you want to do for your vacation. I'm going to focus on Walt Disney World today because that's where I go the most since I live in the Midwest. The first thing you need to do is list out everything that you'll be spending money on while on vacation. Resort or hotel cost, food cost, park ticket cost, transportation cost to and from the airport, flight or travel cost, souvenirs, and don't forget about costs while you're traveling, food at the airport, and parking your car at the airport while you're gone, etc. Again, list out everything, even if you're just estimating. I usually look at resort and park ticket costs first. This helps my family decide when we want to go and for how long. If there's a deal on park tickets, that may determine how many days we're going to the park. Always check out the special offers page on the Disney website. When booking with Disney, you'll need to put down $200 as a deposit, and your vacation will need to be paid off in full 30 days in advance. So, simple math for this amount would be to take your Disney amount, the resort and park tickets, and subtract $200. Then take the remaining number and divide it by the number of months until your trip minus 1. So here's an example for you. Let's say, as 2 adults, you're going to Port Orleans Riverside for 6 nights and getting a 3-day regular park ticket. The total cost will be $3,263. Take that number, subtract 200, and you'll get $3,063. If you want to pay ahead each month, which you can do, or just set money aside each month, you should take that $3,063 and divide it by 7 if your vacation is 8 months away. Remember, you have to have it paid off in full ahead of time. Your Disney amount, as I'm calling it, will be $437.50 per month. This makes it seem a little more doable, doesn't it? However, don't forget about all the other costs. Flights have definitely become more expensive the past few years. You'll probably just put that all on a credit card when booking, so we'll have to take that into account as well. At the airport, you'll have to pay to check your bags if applicable, and ask yourself if you're going to buy any food there or to and from the airport. This could be an additional $100 right there depending on how big your family is or how hungry they are. There are different money-saving tips for all of these things, but my goal for this video is just to help you plan and set a budget. Speaking of food, take some time to look at restaurant menus to see what your family might like to eat and what restaurants you might go to while at Disney. You won't necessarily have an exact amount, but you could have an estimate per day for food. If you want to have a concrete number, you could add one of the dining plans to your reservation. You should go online to check number estimates for this or contact your travel agent. For 2 adults, for the hypothetical situation I gave before, the 6 nights at Riverside, it would be approximately an additional $700 for the quick service dining plan or $1,100 for the Disney dining plan. Again, I always say, look at the menus to see if you should get the dining plan or just pay per meal. When you're planning on how much to set aside for souvenirs, Maybe go to disneystore.com to see what prices are, or follow some Disney content creators and see what some of the latest souvenirs are and if you want them. Not everything is sold online though, so keep that in mind. With these additional costs of food, souvenirs, and flights, along with all the little items you'll be spending money on, I want to encourage you again to have everything paid off ahead of time, or be pretty close to it. You have the Disney amount, which needs to be paid off to Disney, but there will be costs while you're there, and now your credit card has all of your flight costs on it. Add up all those costs and divide by the amount of months until your vacation. Set aside money for food and souvenirs so you can pay off your credit card right away after your trip, and try to start your trip with a zero balance from your flights. But I know some of you, like my family, have a habit of planning last-minute vacations, and there's no way you can pay it off before your trip. A couple tips for this would be to always have a little money set aside if you are an avid Disney traveler. Then that credit card bill won't be so harsh when you look at it after your trip. Or my personal rule is I'm not allowed to book another Disney vacation until the other one is completely paid off. That's been some good motivation to pay off my debt. My final thoughts on setting a budget for your Disney vacation is to decide the amount that you're willing to spend and then plan your vacation accordingly. For example, if you're only willing to spend $3,000 for your Disney amount, maybe you should skip the parks if you want to stay at a nicer resort. Or maybe stay at a value resort and go to the parks. Or this amount would determine how long your vacation should be. Do what's best for you, your budget, and your stress level. I know a lot of what I talked about today is probably pretty basic and maybe too common sense, but I think it's important stuff to remember so that we can live well each day and have an enjoyable and memorable time at Disney. I encourage you to set a budget for your next Disney vacation. To help you out, we have something new for you. Go to our new Etsy shop and get the WDW Vacation Budget Planner printable. Print it out as many times as you want for all of your Disney vacations. Check out the link in the description below. This takes everything I talked about in this video and puts it into a nice worksheet for you to fill out as you plan. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please remember to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notifications when a new video comes out. And thanks for watching Optimistically Disney, where we love all things Disney.